Hello, my loves. Here we are in my kitchen at night. It's like 9:45, and we're gonna make our kind of Chinesey veggie stir fry. It's the first time that I've gone live at night, I think. Maybe not. It's the first time that I've cooked. I think we chatted at night before. But okay, here we go. So the first thing I want to point out is I'm using avocado oil because it has a really neutral flavor. And I don't really want to use olive oil or coconut, and those are like my three favorite oils, so that's why I'm choosing this one. So I'm just going to pour in the pan right now, I don't know, probably about a tablespoon or two. Doesn't really need to be like perfectly measured. And I'm going to turn the fire on to heat up while we get going. So I'm going to put it on like medium high, like on 5 out of, mine goes to 6 and then it says high. Okay, then we're going to do, hey Lizzie. Guys, Lizzie's in medical school. She's a smarty pants. Tell me how it's going there. We met last year at like her cousin's birthday party. That was like my son's friend. Anyways. Okay, using my onion. I prefer sweet onions. Just, I don't know. I feel like that the other onions that get like too strong. But like health-wise, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, you see how I cut it like this? Like I leave the middle. You don't have to do that. But I just find it makes it easier to cut because then you have like a nice flat surface. And it's easy to peel. I'm all about easy, as you know. And I actually like to cut it pretty small. So let me see if you can, if you can't see well, tell me, but I think you can. Like I can see it. Okay, I'm cutting it pretty small because almost all the flavor is gonna come from the onion sauteing. And that's actually why I also want it to be on high. The flame's pretty high, which is also another reason why I use the avocado oil. This one. Because avocado oil can go to a pretty high heat without smoking, and we definitely don't want any oils ever to smoke because then they're rancid. Anyways, okay, so can you see? Let me just flip the camera so you can see real fast. Hey, Gabby! I chopped it up pretty small. See, that's my hand. So it's like pretty teeny. And I'm just gonna toss this. So this is always where it gets tricky doing this with one hand if I'm the one holding the phone. But okay, here we go. And I got it just to fall in there. Okay. So there it is in the pan. I'm going to turn it honestly up to high right now. Hey, Bela. And the onion's going to start to saute. You know, I used to think that going live at night would be like a terrible idea, but now I'm like, yeah, everyone's just like chilling, pretending to be productive when most people are on Facebook. So like, we can do that together. Okay, so I'm also actually going to salt it a little bit right now. Because I find if you salt while things are cooking, like everything is just more tasty. Okay, and that's gonna start to cook. Can you hear it's already starting to fry? Can you hear it? I'll bring you closer so you can see. See, it's already starting to sizzle. And we really want them to get really good and fried up because they really are like the taste for the whole thing. And the fact that they get fried well, honestly, that's what gives it kind of that Chinesey flavor. That's what I've learned. I didn't intentionally make this dish to be Chinesey in the first place. I just was like, wanted to make something light with celery. And then I'm just cutting off the ends of the celery, by the way. After I made it, I was like, oh, this kind of tastes like the Chinese dishes with like the white sauce. And so like it kind of just came to be that way. Okay, but now this is the trick to make it like look Chinesey. Okay, so normally, you see that like normally when you cut celery, you cut like straight down, and then you get these like moons, right? Like I cut off the ends, and now it looks like a moon. Can you see that, right? But if we wanted to look kind of like fancy and Chinesey, hey Racheli, oh my gosh, Racheli is an amazing chef, and all of her food is really fancy. She's one of the people that I love going like, you know, how I always say like, oh, I love eating fancy food, but I'll never make it. Racheli makes it. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna cut sideways. I mentioned this to a client recently, and she's like, could I use a mandolin? And I was like, if you have a mandolin, like that's too annoying, fancy, more stuff I don't want. But okay, here's my good knife, and I'm just cutting sideways, like that. Can you see what I'm doing? And then look what's happening. I'm getting like cool shape. It's like better, right? It looks like Chinesey, like when you go to the Chinese restaurant, they always have it cut in good shapes, and then it feels more awesome. And more fun to eat. And so I'm just cutting it at an angle. And I'm gonna, okay, that's done. Let's check on the onions. Hey, Abby! Haven't seen you forever. Okay, look, they're all good now. Oh wow, my phone's so smart. It turned on the light just by doing that. Okay, see, they're getting nice and like frizzled up. That's good. We can actually just add the celery in. I think in the recipe I say to do the mushroom first, but it honestly doesn't matter. As you can see, I have messed it up. Oh, but actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push it to the side so that the celery can like hit the oil directly instead of like sitting on top of the onions. So the onions are going to go over there, and I'm just going to grab it with my hand, and in goes the celery. There we go. And I'm also, I know this is kind of ridiculous, I'm kind of pushing the pan a little forward because I don't want my onions to burn, and I want like my celery to be like right on top of the fire. I don't know if it really does anything, but I do it. Okay, and now, also by the way, I've been really into celery lately. It's really hydrating, and especially like if you want to like dip it with something. I don't know, I just have been really enjoying it. So you can either slice it like this. That's how I normally do mushrooms, but honestly, I feel like when I have it like in Chinese restaurants, it's more just like in half, and you get still like the feel of the roundness. So I think I'm gonna do it in half. I think I'm just gonna do them like that, in half. So that's what I'm doing, you can see. I washed these already. And I prefer the white button mushrooms. You could totally do like the dark ones. I forgot what the cremini, I think they're called. Oh, hey, Sarah Russell. Sarah Russell also makes kind of fancy food that I don't. Okay, so I'm going to salt this celery. You want to see, by the way, it's my good salt, my real salt. Although it's actually not real salt. It's a Himalayan pink salt that I refilled from Costco. Woo! See, okay, by the way, that's not actually smoke, that's the steam, and you can tell because it's only happening when it gets like touching the new vegetables. But that's also why, sorry if it's too loud, that's also why I wanted to use the avocado oil, because avocado oil has a high smoke point. Right, you can see it's not smoking now when there's no vegetables in it, so that's how we know it's not smoke and that it's just steam. So I'm just putting in the mushrooms. Julia Child says, hey, Ilana. Guys, my friend Ilana in Israel is on. Hi, Ilana. Say hi. Julia Child says, don't crowd the mushrooms, but I say do whatever the hell you want. Do whatever makes your life easier. I don't care. I don't mind crowding the mushrooms, especially for something like this. Okay, so I'm just going to, the truth is maybe I will try and like flip them, and so they're kind of sitting in it. And I may add a little bit more oil. Yeah, I think I'm going to. And honestly, guys, I was so surprised that you chose this because, I don't know. I thought it was kind of a lame name, Kinda Chinesey Vegetables, but I guess you guys were into it. I'm just going to salt these also real fast. So that salt, it's really pink salt that I refilled, but real salt is also a good salt that I use. I definitely recommend whenever using salt to use an unrefined salt like pink salt or pink Himalayan or hold on, let me just, I don't want the mushrooms, I don't want the onions to burn. So see, they're not burning, they're like kind of nice and sauteed over there. But I'm still gonna kind of flip them on top of the celery and let the mushrooms do their thing. And see, can you see that steam again? And again, we know that's steam and not smoke because it's only happening when the vegetables are in it. Right? You saw like when I moved the celery to the side, that then there was no steam. And we don't want it to steam. So there we go. This is exciting. And, okay, health benefits. Well, okay, so first of all, why is this good? What do you guys want to know if it's good for? I'll tell you. I mean, it's good for everything. Hey, Netta! Guys, I feel like all my people that I love are on right now. Okay, I love Netta. Netta's my favorite nurse, and I'm sure there's other wonderful nurses, but Netta's my favorite. So one of the things I really like about this dish, honestly, is you know sometimes when you're like wanting to eat more, but you're not really hungry anymore. You just like want the pleasure of the experience. So I find having something like this is really great for that, because, or maybe you're just like a little hungry, but your mouth still like wants to keep going. I feel like having something like this is just great because it's really just very light, and it has a lot of nutrition in it, but it's not heavy, and it's not like a ton of calories. And you know, like I never talk about calories because like they're not nothing, but our bodies are so much more than calories in, calories out. And anyone who says that, like, I feel like has no common sense, because if you've ever seen like you and a friend go on the exact same diet and they lose like 20 pounds in 5 minutes, and you're there like a year later, like 2 pounds down, then you can see it's not so simple. And obviously like it's a part of it, but there's so much more going on, and it's much more hormonal. But anyways, okay, hold on, let me just show you how this is doing. I lowered it a little bit, by the way, to like 4, which is like a medium high flame. Okay, and now I'm gonna kind of stir these mushrooms up a little. I find that the trick for this dish is also like not overdoing it. So I'm just gonna like stir this up all together now. And then we're gonna throw in some spinach. Of course, pre-washed. It's the Trader Joe's bag. And the trick with spinach is like just cooking it enough. If you leave it too long, then it gets like not awesome. And it doesn't look bright green anymore, and then you're just like, I guess I'll eat it, but it doesn't look really good. So, okay, so we want to keep stirring, and we can even just like throw this on top and stir it all up, because the spinach will cook pretty fast. You'll see. There we go. See, it's already wilting. Can you see that? Here we go. And then it looks so pretty with the fresh one. And then I'm going to turn off actually, I could turn off the fire now, honestly. I'm going to turn off the fire now. Give it like one more stir. And it's done. And I'm just going to grab, oops, sorry. I'm just going to I'll grab a pretty little bowl to put it in so it looks pretty. And if I have any pretty little bowls, that's a good question. Okay, I have this one. This little glass one, you've seen that before. It's one of the ones I have left that are not like broken. It came with like a set, but of course they're all broken now. Healthy heaven, yum, yeah, it is. And I don't know, I just really like it, so I'm putting it in there. And yes, I definitely would recommend taking it off the flame right away, because you can see, even though the fire's off, it's still hot in there. It's still cooking it. And if you leave it in, it's gonna like right now it's awesome. Like the celery still has like crunch to it. The spinach is still bright green. If you leave it in there, it's gonna lose that. So basically, honestly, that's the whole thing. This is how I like it. If you want, you can drizzle some toasted sesame oil and even a little bit of tamari on top. And if you want to have a little piece of green. And that'll make it even more Chinesey, but that will be honestly a little bit more reminiscent of like the dishes with like the brown sauce versus like the white sauce, the light sauce. Okay, here we go. My husband is a filmmaker, and he always tells me if I'm taking pictures of food, I should put it in direct sunlight, but there's no direct sunlight. So that's our dish. And what else? I've also sometimes put, like once it comes off, or once I turn off the fire, maybe I'll put in some fresh basil or fresh cilantro, and that's like really awesome also. But it doesn't really, it just makes it into like more of like a yummy veggie side dish, and it kind of loses that like very gentle, subtle Chinesey thing going on. And I think what makes it work as the gentle Chinese thing is, again, it's the onions that are like fried really well at a high temperature. And it's also not overcooking it, that the vegetables really stay crunchy. Because you know when you get like a stir-fry at a Chinese restaurant, like that broccoli is crunchy. That celery is crunchy. It's not like when we do it at home and like we kind of are lazy about it and then like we put it on our plate and it's all like bleh. Right? So that's the trick with this, is like not letting it cook too long. And what did I want to tell you? I was going to tell you, that it's good because it's just like it has a lot of nutrients. but it doesn't have, it's not heavy. So like we can just like kind of have it. Obviously it's not like free, whatever, but I don't know. I really like it. I made it last week before Shabbat, and then I served part of it, but I deliberately, and I recommend you do this too, if you ever make something that you really like, that you know people are gonna like eat up, like serve half of it and then put the other half away for you. Like, you deserve it. You earned it. Even if you didn't earn it, whatever, it's your life. Enjoy it. And so then I was able to have it like the next day too, instead of being like irritated, like, I want to have it the next day and there's none left. Like, take care of yourself, put some aside. So there's that. What was I going to tell you guys? Oh, actually, I want to tell you guys a cool story if anyone wants to hear it. Thankfully, I have never really experienced any kind of like anti-Semitism or just like any hate from people, like for no reason, like senseless hate. Like I've definitely gotten hate from people who like hate me personally, which is also unfortunate for me and them. But I've never, like gotten yelled at or anything, random things in random places. And today something happened at the 99-cent store. My son was like, can we go? Because he wanted to get like a new toy. He knows when we go there, like, I'm just going to say yes to everything. So like, he's always like, let's go. He's 4. So we went, and yes, he got a new toy car. And also like a new, whatever, like, what is it called? A bow and arrow. Anyways, we were there, and some son of a you-know-what, not gun, said something really, really anti-Semitic to my kid. And at first I don't even want to repeat it. And at first I didn't even like get it. And then I like realized like what just happened. And this was like a big, tall, I mean, he looked like maybe he was like 6'3" and like 300 pounds. But I wasn't like scared safety wise, as it was like a really full store. But once I realized what happened, I like kind of like chased him down and was like, what did you just say to my kid? And he was like, kind of just like, blah, 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 like not answering me, like avoiding eye contact. And I was like, what were you implying with what you just said to my son? And he was just, again, trying to like avoid it. And he was like, mind your own business. And I was like, my son is my business, bucko. Anyways, then he was just like, oh, just leave me alone. And he walked away. But first of all, I want to share with you that I was really proud of myself that I didn't just let him walk away. And I was like, if you want to say something, say it to me, say it to my face, and let's talk about it. Like, don't like throw shade at my kid. And number 2, it also gave me a ton of perspective because I was so pissed. And my son was so okay. He's like, Mommy, you were like super mom going up against that guy. And then he's like, can I shoot him with my dart, or he got this like little dart gun. And I was like, no, that would not make the world a better place, and it would not help this dynamic. But anyways, I was really, really mad. But I was thinking, first of all, like, what can I learn from this? What can I take from it? And what was really cool, first of all, is actually when we were checking out, like, I got right behind him in line at first, just to, like, stick it to him and be like, you think you're gonna, like, be an a-hole and, like, not have to face it? You will face it. But then, honestly, I saw his cart had, like, it was, like, overflowing with crap, and I had, like, 5 things, and I was like, no. So I just went in a shorter line. But then the guy behind me in line was this Israeli, so cute, sweet Asaf. I didn't realize that he kind of looked Israeli, but then I heard him say something with his, like, adorable Israeli accent. So then, and the guy was like right next to us in line, like he could for sure see and hear us. So when I started talking really loud, like, oh, what's your name? His name's Asaf, and I was like, oh, like, where do you live? Do you want to join us for Shabbat tomorrow night? Like, being very openly, proudly Jewish and kind. And he was like, oh, I have a place to ride. And I was like, oh, where are you going? Whatever. We're just like talking. So I felt like that was like a positive thing coming out of it, that like, anyways, I'm friendly and I like people, but I wanted to like specifically combat the darkness with light. But I was still really, really upset. And was doing like the replay thing of like, what should I have said? What could I have said better? Like, that kind of thing. And how could I have handled this better? And I don't really, if you guys have ideas, I'm totally open to it. Of like, how do you handle that kind of situation? But what I am taking from it is that I just feel, generally speaking, I'm like really positive and friendly, and like when I I feel like when strangers are just like friends I haven't met yet. Like I just like people generally. And I kind of always took it for granted, like, oh, it's just my personality. And I think it is. Like, there's other people in my family that are also really outgoing like that. But it made me realize that so much of that also, I feel like, is a privilege of the way that I was raised, that like 99.9% of the time, like when I say hi to people, they give me a big smile back. And people are nice to me. And that I really feel like, I'm trying to think, I had like one teeny little incident in high school where someone said something kind of anti-Semitic. But it was like, as soon as they said it and they realized I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean it. Like, it wasn't like a real jab. It was like someone trying to be cool. Not someone trying to actually, you know, like how people, like, it was one of these things where they're like, I don't remember what happened. Like, oh, it's so Jewish. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. So it was kind of like how people used to be like, oh, that's so gay. And then they're like, oh, they shouldn't be saying that. But I was thinking like, wow, I'm so like blessed that I'm 32 and I've never had something like that happen. And how much that's gifted me with like being able to like see the world in such a positive light, because like, yeah, people are freaking nice to me most of the time. And so like, I don't mind, like it's sort of easy for me to anticipate that. And I feel like what I've learned from this is it's given me a lot more compassion for when I see people that are just like, look like they're just pissed, you know, and they're just like walking down the street and they've like, you know, they look like they're like sucking on a lemon. And like in my house, like we like to eat lemons, so we don't make the same face, but you know what I'm saying? You know, they just like look upset and angry at life. And I wouldn't like judge them. I would be like, that sucks that they feel that way. But I feel that I now have more compassion of like, maybe that just happened to them. Or maybe that happens to them all the time. Maybe they have to deal with that all the time. And like, it sucks. Like, I'm like, this is like 5 hours later and like, I'm sort of upset about it still. And like, it was like an intense experience. And so I feel like with the message, you know, because I feel, okay, this isn't like specifically food, but I feel the whole, at least for me, and what I feel like is also, you know, what I think we share in this group is that, you know, we're not like here for foodies' sake. This isn't like a gourmet nutrition group. This is like how to get well, how to be healthy really easily so I can just enjoy my life. And this definitely for me is under the category like enjoying my life. And you know, what you can learn from different situations. And so I just wanted to share that. So I hope that was meaningful in some capacity for some of you. I'll give one more shot of our vegetables that we just made. The picture I posted is better because the light's not good now. My husband's totally right. Sunlight's way better. And also, I think I kind of overcooked these a little bit because I was like distracted talking to you. That happens a lot. That when I make it live, it's like not as good as normal because I'm like distracted and talking. But it's still really good, and it will be really good. And I'm going to serve it tomorrow night. And Juniper, if any of you guys know Juniper Greenstein, she's coming, so I'll have her do a report back if you want. I'll have her post of what she thought of it. And if anyone of you are nearby and want to try it, just come on down. And you're invited. That's genuine. Not like if you message me after, I won't be like, weirdo, I wouldn't mean that. I'll be like, yeah, come over. Not now, it's late now. I'm going to try and like chill out and go to bed. But I hope you all have an awesome night. And I love you. And I hope you have awesome lives with very, very minimal negativity and lots of positivity. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.